some dirt on it.
Cargo secure.
What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about the Crown faction coming to DMZ, new missions coming to all 3 maps, and even more about the inventory reset. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and let me know down below in the comment section what other rewards do you guys want to see for completing DMZ missions. I think the rewards that we got with Season 1 were alright. I mean, you got XP bonuses, some basic contraband, some weapons with maybe a few attachments, or maybe none, and then there were a couple of really interesting rewards, such as some operator skins or some decent looking blueprints. Nothing too crazy, but since DMZ is still in beta, there's a lot of potential for what you can actually unlock by doing some of the tedious faction missions, and also of course getting insurance slots is really huge for PvP action on Building 21 or the upcoming release of Ashika Island. Let me know how you're feeling about DMZ rewards down below in the comments though. Now, I also wanted to say real quickly, the future of DMZ is kind of a question mark, since with recent rumors that the new Call of Duty dropping this fall is a spin-off to Modern Warfare 2 developed by Sledgehammer. It's its own separate game that does feature its own campaign, its own multiplayer, and probably even a zombies. With all of that in mind, I do want to actually speculate with you guys though what the future of DMZ could be, right? Will Modern Warfare 2 even still get updates? Will it get treated like Modern Warfare 19 or Cold War, where there is technically a second year of support with more maps, more bundles, operators, weapons, game modes? I do wonder how that would work and how that would even impact DMZ, because if the next Call of Duty or the next Black Ops game has their own iteration of DMZ, then does that mean that the current iteration we have that's still in beta just gets left behind, such as Blackout from Black Ops 4, such as Outbreak in Cold War, a mode that you would think is suitable for multiple years of support that just gets left behind in favor of a new Call of Duty that comes out and starts from scratch again? I'm curious though. I do think there's a lot of potential to update DMZ for at least the next year and a half, and then when the next Black Ops game comes out, that game will offer some type of DMZ Outbreak hybrid that I think would work as like a sequel to the current iteration we have right now of DMZ, and also a sequel to the Outbreak that we got from Treyarch's last game. Let me know how you're feeling about that down below. Before we continue with more information about the future of DMZ, let's go ahead and take the sponsor of today's video. Now, tonight's video is sponsored by Gel Blaster. If you were looking to bring some Call of Duty action into real life, then you can have some fun with the semi and fully automatic blasters featuring revolutionary water-based gellets. The Gel Blaster Surge provides up to 4 hours of play. They're mess-free, non-toxic, and safe for kids. This is a much better blaster than its competitors. Each blaster also comes with 10,000 eco-friendly gellets that begin to dehydrate after impact. You actually get to grow your ammo by pouring the gellets into a 1-gallon container of water, followed by waiting around 2 hours for them to grow. Now, as a reminder, the gellets are safe for the environment, pets, people, or any surfaces. They disintegrate on impact and immediately begin to dehydrate, leaving no residue behind. But if you're ready to start blasting, then be sure to click on the link down below and use code DKD10 to get 10% off your order. But thank you to Gel Blaster for sponsoring tonight's video. Now back to the video, taking a look at the Season 2 blog post and what's going on with Ashika Island and faction missions. It does say, and I quote, "Our new exclusion zone, Ashika Island, is the 3rd exclusion zone to be added into DMZ after Al Mazrah and Building 21. Unlike Building 21 though, which requires that you get a key card to access the map, Ashika Island can be chosen as your DMZ destination at any time." So this doesn't really mention the fate of Building 21. I'm just gonna assume that that map will still be on the same rotation as it's on right now, where you can only play it from Friday to Monday morning. It's a bit unfortunate considering how good that map is and how fun it is, but maybe they want to make sure that everybody out there plays Ashika Island as much as possible, and if they go play Building 21, it's not every day. I mean, if that's the case, then they could have at least allowed for people to play Building 21 in a limited amount of times on any day, and then start that rotation system once Ashika Island came out, but can't get everything you want, right? It also says, infiltrating Ashika Island will be crucial to faction progress, with multiple missions across all factions involving operators who must perform tasks on the island. However, you can complete more generic missions that do not require deployment to specific regions on the island if you find more success in eliminating enemies and gathering items on here compared to other exclusion zones. Then feel free to drop back in here and use the new space to your advantage. So that does mean that there are map exclusive missions and non-map exclusive missions, which means that, yeah, there'll be an element of choice where you can do some of the basic missions on any map you want, and then you'll be forced to play certain maps for some of the other missions. Hopefully that really makes sense for those out there that might be confused right now. It also says each player additionally begins the season season with a fresh slate. Though you'll retain any permanent items you unlocked in the previous season, all earned contraband and keys will be reset from the inventory. Season 1 faction missions will be reset to make room for the new Season 2 faction missions, tasking players with assignments across all 3 exclusion zones. But when it comes to our new faction known as Crown, once again, as a reminder, you have to own Modern Warfare 2 to get access to this faction and its set of missions over in DMZ. Hopefully that's very clear now. It does say, and I quote, owners of Modern Warfare 2 will gain access to missions from an exclusive new DMZ faction, the Crown. In addition to learning more about this faction's place in the overall DMZ story, completing their missions allows you to earn new rewards like weapon blueprints and even operator skins. Now it also says, following the reset, the new faction known as Crown will add additional intrigue alongside a refresh of familiar missions and their rewards, granting operators new permanent unlocks like operator skins, weapon blueprints, and even contraband. So a slightly similar sentence that was put in the other blog post, but wanted to reread it just in case. Operators will be able to complete missions either back at Al-Mazrah within Building 21 if they have keycard access, or by infiltrating Ashika Island. This new map will be central to the experiences, continued narrative, and other new features like boss hideouts to test out even the most seasoned operators. So it's unclear how difficult the Crown missions are going to be in comparison to the missions that we have for White Lotus, Black Mouse, even Legion. The thing is though, because it is a faction, it's locked behind ownership of Modern Warfare 2, I do wonder if because of that fact alone, the faction won't have as many missions as those other factions, or if it'll be just the same. Maybe Infinity Ward had plans to go ahead and make a new faction anyway for Season 2, but then Activision was like, you know what, let's lock that behind exclusivity. Let's lock that behind ownership of Modern Warfare 2, and Infinity Ward had nothing to do with that. It was actually Activision, therefore Infinity Ward didn't put any less effort or time into that faction. It's going to get equal treatment like the other 3 did in the first season. Let's see how that works, but I'm wondering what the balance is going to be. Now, I do want to make things clear, right? When I first brought up this breaking news about this new faction in a previous video, people came under the impression that I was against the idea of having an incentive for owning Modern Warfare 2. What I want to make clear is that it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Owners of Modern Warfare 2 want more of an incentive for owning the game. Right now, a lot of owners of the game feel like they're not getting what they paid for. They feel like the base game's not getting enough updates, and more updates are going to the free-to-play app, which is Warzone 2 DMZ. So I do think it's a positive for those people complaining to get access to this faction by owning the game, right? It's a reason to have bought it. So I get that, but I also get those out there who might even own the game and still think it's silly that they have to own it to get access to free content that's a part of the free elements of COD 2.0, which is DMZ. I mean, even those that don't own Modern Warfare 2, that just play Warzone and DMZ, I can get their argument too, where they're like, you know what? Why do I have to buy the base game of campaign, multiplayer, and Spec Ops when I don't care about any of those modes? I just want to play DMZ. Why do I have to buy that game to get content for a mode that's not even really a part of it? So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I'm kind of in the fence about it. I personally don't really care, but what I will say is, yeah, I think it is a little bit more beneficial that Modern Warfare 2 owners get something for having bought the game. So I agree more with that side, but then again, I don't really mind because I'll be covering this content anyway, and I'm really looking forward to any new content over in DMZ. But they also followed up by saying, from the first missions of Al-Mazrah to the uncovering of Building 21, the new DMZ experience has significantly evolved thanks to a growing community committed to building up that contraband stash and reading every last bit of intel gathered. In Season 2, operators will begin their journey again with the new exclusion zone to infiltrate Ashika Island. As mentioned in Infinity Ward's blog, Season 2 will see DMZ experience its first reset, allowing all operators to start with a clean slate while keeping all permanent content they earn in Season 1 along with their insured weapon slots. So I do want to make things clear though, it was mentioned in a previous blog somewhere, I'll put it on screen if I can find it, that not every season to release for COD 2.0 will feature a DMZ inventory reset or even a new exclusion zone for DMZ either. I think we've been very spoiled so far with the fact that DMZ came out for Al-Mazrah on November 16th, then just what, around a month later, we got Building 21 added as a new map that wasn't really marketed correctly, but still, it was a great new experience that I always enjoy playing. The PvP is great on that map. I love extracting as well. That came out, and then now, just a couple of weeks after that, or excuse me, a good, what, month and a half-ish after Building 21, we're getting another new map for DMZ. So temper your expectations. I don't think we're getting a new DMZ map every single half update, or what, every other update. I don't think that'll be the case. I want to say we probably won't get a new DMZ map until late Season 3, maybe Reloaded for that, or early Season 4. I highly doubt we'll get a new area every season, but if we do, hey, the more the merrier. But then again, I think since DMZ is still in beta, they are trying to make sure they to get out as many maps as fast as they can to really warm people up to the idea of the mode. And I think because they're really overhauling the missions this time around and adding in a bunch of new content with AI and gameplay mechanics and faction progress, now is when they want to test out that first type of wipe. Escape from Tarkov does it, but again, that game has a new season, every 6+ months, not like COD at all, which is every 50 to 70 days. So it's warranted more for that game to do it, but I think it's fine to do it once for DMZ as they kind of reset how everything works, but I don't expect to see another reset for quite some time. Now, I also want to say for future wipes, I don't even expect them to wipe faction mission progress. I think what they'll start wiping is just your inventory every so often, but that itself is acceptable, right? Getting rid of your key cards and contraband, sure. But faction mission progress should be a one-time thing, and I think that one time is now because of how they're overhauling the system. But if they do that again in the future, they have to have a really good reason behind it. Hopefully at that point, there ends up being a big economy and market added to where it takes DMZ out of beta and allows you to take cash out of a match and spend it at the main menu on crazy rewards, right? Kind of like how Tarkov does it, but on an even bigger scale. That's when a full wipe of everything makes more sense, but since we don't have that type of endgame system yet, it doesn't really make sense to do a wipe all that often. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on our brand new Crown faction coming to DMZ? How are you feeling about the mission and inventory reset coming on February 15th? And also what are your thoughts on everything else we discussed? Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.